77 WABC and Bergen Newbridge Medical Center honor the life of legendary broadcaster and our friend, Ernie Anastas.
Hi, it's Ernie Anastas. You know, your thoughts can affect how you feel. Bergen Newbridge Medical Center is the largest hospital in New Jersey, providing comprehensive, equitable, compassionate, and high-quality emergency inpatient and outpatient medical care, plus mental health services and substance use disorder treatment. The Bergen Newbridge team can address your total health needs in one convenient location. Call 201-225-7130 for an appointment or newbridgehealth.org.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Wow. They rolled out the red carpet. I have video of when Barack Hussein Obama came to China. There wasn't as much pageantry. No. From your perspective, that welcome, how did you interpret that?
Well, we have a relationship, he and I, and we've been working together a long time. We've gotten along well. When I first came here, China was really taking advantage of the United States. He understands that. And now we do great with China, and we have a very good relationship. We have a friendship, really. He's a tremendous leader. He's been here a long time, very powerful, very strong. There's no doubt about it. And we just have a good relationship. I did actually see other people arrive here that not treated so well, but we were treated very well.
So that was meaningful for you?
Well, I mean, if I got out of a plane and nobody was there to greet me, I would say that wouldn't be so cool, because it's really respect for our country. Our country is respected. Look, we're the hottest country right now anywhere in the world. But he and I know each other well, I think beyond maybe that. But we certainly got a very nice greeting, and today was beautiful.
Mr. President, if there was any meeting that I think I would want to be a part of, I would love to have been in that meeting. Rather than me start with a bunch of questions about this and that, and I do have specific questions, in your own words, how did this meeting go? Because you were there a long time.
It was a long meeting. It started off interestingly because they're very organized people. And as you know, we have about 30 of the biggest business leaders in the world, biggest everything, you know, I mean, you name it, from chips to planes to everything. And they're all here. I didn't invite them. They all wanted to come. And they're all here. And I suggested that before we start the meeting, I'd like to introduce them to you. And they were surprised because it wasn't scheduled. And they looked around, they said, well, and then, we had everybody. I don't want to go into names because I'll leave some out. But there were a lot of guys.
Tim Cook, Elon,
a lot of people.
Musk.
Yeah, we had everybody.
The head of NVIDIA was
Jensen.
here.
We had just everybody. And men and women, all great business, the best. And they said, okay. And they each spoke a little bit and introduced themselves. And it's interesting because they do business in China. Most of them do business here, but probably like to do more. And I'd like to see them do more. That would be good for trade and trade balance. And they were fantastic. I'll tell you, they really had a good time. Once the Chinese leadership, because it was President Xi and many other leaders, once they got used to the fact that we're a little off schedule here and we're talking about a subject that wasn't even thought about, but they were outside. I said, I think we can get them in 5 minutes, because they were literally, a few minutes away from the room where we were in the Great Hall. We were in the Great Hall. And they came in and they did fantastically well. It was really good. I think it was, he actually said, that was very good. That was a good idea. But it was very different from what the schedule had. And then we went on, and we talked about a lot of different subjects, and I think it was all good.
Let me ask you this. You always say that you have a very good relationship with President Xi. And you say the same thing about Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
You're America first. Yeah. You seem to always understand he's going to be China first.
Yeah, totally.
And so...
He's China first. He wants to make good deals. But having a good relationship is a good thing, not a bad thing. I explain to people, it's great when you have good relationships with very powerful countries. They're powerful economically as well as... We have the most... I built, in my first term, the greatest military in the world. We have the greatest military in the world. We proved that with Venezuela. We proved it with Iran. Iran's wiped out militarily. It's just a question of time. And, we gave them a break by stopping a little while. We have a blockade. They have no boats are going in. No boats are even thinking about it. We talked about it today. It's very interesting. But they're impressed. We have a great military. We have the greatest military we've ever had, but we have the greatest military anywhere in the world. I built it in the first term. A little was given away by Biden to Afghanistan. And as much as it was a lot, but it's a very little compared to what we have. We have a country that is respected. Our country 2 years ago, if Biden came here, I don't even think he would get a meeting with President Xi. I don't think they'd even meet with him.
I don't know if he'd be able to focus long enough in the meeting. You know what? He wouldn't come here. But assuming he came, I don't know that he'd even have a meeting. It's amazing. Actually, a lot of people, I noticed even with the business leaders, they're the biggest businessmen in the world, and women, a couple of women, and most of them, almost all of them, but most of them never met President Xi. This was the first time they've met him. So they found it exciting. They all performed very well. They all spoke. And I said, it's a little different position for them because they're hot stuff back in our country, but here they are. They're standing in front of this, massive country, the leadership. But they really performed well, I thought. You have, in the past, described President Xi to me as very tough, all business. Yeah. You're not describing the type of business that he normally used to do. Do you think that your relationship has evolved to the point where, he can go along with your spontaneity? I think he's a warm person, actually, but he's all business. He's there's no games, there's no talking about how nice the weather is. Oh, let's look at the stars, let's look at the sun. No, he's all business, and I like that. I mean, that's a good thing. No games. I say it about him, and I could say it about some. Not as complimentary, frankly, for the most part. But I say about him that if you went to Hollywood and you looked for a leader of China to play a role in a movie, central casting. He's central casting. You couldn't find a guy like him. Even his physical features. He's tall, very tall, and especially for this country because they tend to be a little bit shorter. You look at the military. I mean, the military today was incredible. That military marching was incredible. But no, if you went to Hollywood, you wouldn't find that.
I just have to say something. According to FCC guidelines, I got to say something every so often. And I didn't say something often enough. So let me just officially say something. This is fascinating to me. This is absolutely fascinating to me. He is so open, and it makes sense. And it is just the little departures and his observations. He is a very observant individual, and he's curious. And you know what he says a lot? Very interesting. It was very interesting. He's very interesting. I mean, think about what he's saying there. He is interested in the world. He is interested. He's engaged. He views things. It's one thing, being in his presence, he is not sizing you up, like judging you like top to bottom. That's what Joe Biden would do. He assesses like what kind of clothes are you wearing, what kind of person you are. Can you help him? Can you hurt him? President Trump is just like, there's something else going on. Anyway, I find it fascinating. I can't get enough of it. I know Hannity got to do the interview, and that's good for him. Good for them. And they are personal friends. All right. I want to hear a little bit more, if you don't mind. If you don't mind, go.
Guy to play the role. He's good. And he's, I'll get criticized. They always criticize me when I say good things about certain leaders, and this one. But he's a leader for China. He's led almost 1.5 billion people for a long time, and he's respected. It's sort of interesting when the fake news said, he said, they'll say, President Trump said that President Xi was a brilliant leader. That's a terrible thing. What am I going to do? But it's, you saw the response. You saw and here's the thing. Those business people are here to make deals and to bring back jobs. They're bringing back massive numbers. China's going to invest hundreds of billions of dollars with those people that were in that room today. That's why they came. It was really an honor. We had just about every major business leader in there. Yeah, the list was impressive. There's no doubt about it.
So maybe to give people some insight into how you act in these situations. You're representing our country. You're the president of our country. And we get to watch you on a regular basis, something that the media did not get a lot of access to when Joe Biden was president. But we watch you.
We never did it.
Well,
and when he did do it, it was a disaster. Okay, so almost 100% of the time, it was a disaster.
Pretty much.
It was a terrible thing for our country. Can't be represented like that. Our country was laughed at. 2 years ago, our country was laughed at. We felt like a stupid country. We were scorned. We were mocked. We were taken advantage of in trade and every other way. I mean, look at what happened with Afghanistan. We left all that, billions of dollars of equipment behind. Could have taken it. It was just unbelievable. There's no reason to do that. It's just all of a sudden and leave it. No, we were a country with the highest inflation in history. When they talk about high prices, I inherited the high prices. I'm getting them down. I've got them down incredibly. In fact, if I didn't make the little excursion to the country of Iran, I had to do it. We just hit the highest stock market ever, which, by the way, now we're now higher than we were before the war started. And oil went up very little compared to what most people, even including me, I thought it would go up more. But that was okay for a short period of time because we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. They're crazy.
I'm going to get to that.
You can't let them have a nuclear weapon. They would use it. There'd be no Israel. There'd be no Middle East. There'd be no Europe. And they come at us too. Because you know why? They're crazy.
I'm going to get back to Iran. Let me go to the media and Donald Trump and then the person and give people insight into the guy that sits in the room across from the leader of China, 1.5 billion people. We watch you almost daily with the media, and I think you enjoy it. You bring them in, they have gaggles, you keep them there for a long period of time. Probably.
It's not that I enjoy it.
You don't enjoy it?
No.
You seem like you do.
Well, every question's a kill. They're always going for the kill. Every question, you see these people with a hatred. I said, you have such hatred when you ask the question. Why? Because I have a strong border? Because I have a good military? Why do you have such hatred? The whole thing is crazy. It's not that I enjoy it. It's that I can get the word out because I don't get the word out. I mean, look, Fox is great, and, we have some that are good. But overall, if you read the New York Times, you actually think we're losing or not doing well in Iran. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. It's gone. It's just a question of time. If we want, we stopped. Could have gone for another few weeks. It would have been over. I did that at the request of a lot of leaders that are friendly with them. It's not going to matter for them. They're finished. Now they can make a deal or they get annihilated. I don't want to do that. Yeah. But we have the greatest military. And, when you do news conferences, you're getting the word out that you're not going to read in the New York Times. I mean, I read these things. I see some of your other networks. The way they cover, they will take a massive military victory and make it like we should have done it faster. The one thing they couldn't complain about was Venezuela because it was over in one day. Mm. So we're comparing it to...
So here's my question.
As an example, Vietnam lasted for 19 years, right? It did. I think Iraq was 10 years. Thousands and thousands of people killed there. Many, many thousands in Vietnam. And we've lost, in 2 wars, we've lost 13 people. 13. That's 13 people too many. But we've lost 13 as opposed to 75,000, as opposed to 50,000, as opposed to numbers that are staggering.
Wow. When he puts it it's like, your buddy is the president of the United States and telling you in real world terms, what is his thinking, what he's going through, the way he views the world, the country, the media, all of it. So upfront, so honest, so it's great. And we'll never have anything like it again. We'll be right back.
Greg Kelly.
Let's go, Brandon.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network, based in the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
More of the story. I am copying this from sources. She just goes on and on and on about how Frank was conservative, was a liberal, and never would have liked Trump. How dare you speak about him that way? Well, we can't say for sure. And just because that they were, father and daughter doesn't really mean anything, right? He's dead almost 30 years. 30 years that guy's been dead. I used to be a Democrat too, actually. Back in the day, I was a long time ago. Only for where the hell did I live back then? Washington, D.C. I wanted to vote in the election down there. I wanted to vote for, I wanted my vote to count. And I voted in 2004 as a Democrat in Washington, D.C. Believe me, I learned the error of my ways. And I'm as MAGA as they come right now. And I think the same would have happened to Frank Sinatra Jr. And if you want to make a fool out of yourself and make Frank mad wherever he is, you keep tweeting, Nancy. You keep tweeting. Those boots are walking all over Frank's grave. You're breaking his heart.
Greg Kelly.
Let's go, Brandon.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Harvey Weinstein was on trial for yet another rape case in Lower Manhattan, and it was just declared a mistrial. The jury could not come up with a verdict, and they were at odds. I don't know. I annoyed a lot of people when I came out and said that Jeffrey Epstein, while I don't know what the hell. I'm not going to come out and just condemn people because the New York Times and the government says that I should condemn people. I am done believing them. I'm done. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm just not going to do it. They're always wrong about everything. And yeah, including Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, Jeffrey Epstein. Absolutely. Nobody knows a damn thing about that case. Nobody's ever read a document. For all the talk about the files, once they get the files, they don't read the files. They don't even read the indictment. They don't even read the guilty plea. They don't read the prosecution agreement. They don't read. It's much more fun to shoot your mouth off on Twitter. Then you can find out if you read, wait, what? Huh? Okay. He pled guilty to statutory rape, consensual sex with a 17-year-old. Now, that ain't good when that's against the law in Florida. But guess what? It ain't against the law in 37 states in the country. Now, maybe it should be 21. Maybe it should be 18. Maybe it should be 19. I don't know. I'm not a legislator. I, quite frankly, have barely ever given that issue any thought. The only time I ever gave it a thought was when, you find out like a 19-year-old is dating a 16-year-old and they try to get the 19-year-old in trouble, which seems a little bit ridiculous. That kind of stuff. But look, Weinstein. Weinstein was the toast of the town for decades. The summer before this guy got arrested, you know where Malia and Sasha Obama interned? At the Weinstein Company. That's how in this guy was. And suddenly they find out he is the worst person in the world. Why is that? Hey, why did Mrs. Newsom, Gavin Newsom's wife, keep her mouth shut about this guy? If she were raped, as she says she was back in 6, 7, imagine if she came forward and said, that man raped me. Could have gone to the cops. Could have filed a report. But no. She didn't want to protect women and girls. She wanted to protect her career. She wanted to protect. Like, why would the industry look? What are you saying about that community you love? They would take sides with the rapist against you. They wouldn't believe you, Gavin Sybil Newsom. Her name is Sybil. I don't know. A lot of people, I hear that a lot. You know, oh, well, I was afraid for my career. For your career, you got to do the right thing. Sometimes in life, you got to do the right thing. What are you, 9 years old? What, are you that emotionally immature? Something wrong about the whole damn thing. Anyway, mistrial. Now, the guy's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. He's probably going to die in prison, which I don't think is fair, to be honest, because the allegations against him were old. But the mob had already kind of, was on its way. The mob was on its way, and there was next to nothing he could do about it. They've already made up their mind. It's it. That's it. Doesn't matter if the allegations are decades old and it basically can't be verified or disputed. No. I'd like to hear from the jury. You know, Arthur Aidala, our friend, I believe, has been involved in the defense. This is a man who believes in the criminal justice system. You know, the mob decided that Weinstein was guilty, just like the mob decided that, actually, the elite media mob decided that President Trump was guilty. Remember? All those cases were completely bogus. But every step of the way, they treated the whole damn thing as if it were serious. Even when he got convicted, it wasn't serious. Cut 8, please. Cut 8. Anybody remember?
And Donald Trump found guilty on 34 felony counts. The first former president of the United States convicted on criminal charges.
An historic moment as he becomes the first former president charged and now convicted of a felony.
Oh, my God. And now we have a FBI director and an attorney general, and it should be a lot more people on that list. And every time a case is brought, oh, my gosh, what an affront to the legal community. What an affront to American democracy. Oh, so any lawyer who brings a case against Comey should be disbarred, literally. Cut 9.
I think the case will get thrown out at some point. The only person who even signed off on that indictment is Lindsay Halligan, who has never appeared before a grand jury in her life. She's an insurance lawyer. I mean, she should know about risk because the risk to her here is enormous. She could wind up in the same position as Rudy Giuliani in the prosecutor's hall of shame and be basically her license lifted and be disbarred. I mean, there's real risk to lawyers who take on this case.
Why is that? Is that what happens to lawyers if they should lose a case? They're going to be disbarred? Rudy Giuliani, raise questions in court. You're allowed to do these things. The only people who ever get disbarred are people who are convicted of financial crimes, violent crimes, or steal money from clients. That's how you get disbarred. Okay. Brock's phone call is staring me in the face. Has been there for a while. Hello, Brock. What's up again?
I was really concerned about they said that Trump authorized the new FISA warrants. And I was wondering, like, how do you feel about that in the age of AI? Like, I'm really concerned about
what difference does AI make regarding FISA?
Well, that's what I'm trying to think. Like, we haven't thought about this before. And, we know that capability is out there. So I don't know if it tracks us even better or it can, I don't know. I'm just really concerned because I don't know what it means, actually. So I was just wondering, I know you're smart. I used to be a Democrat, too, and now I'm an independent, and I love your show. So I just figured let me come to you.
Well, thank you. There are other sources who know more about this, but I will say this about the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. My understanding is that it basically authorizes domestic wiretapping if it originated overseas. If it's a search that ultimately started like a foreign person talking to an American person, right? You don't need the same traditional kind of judicial precursors that you would in getting a warrant against an American. Is that basically it? Well,
wasn't there an issue like with the McCabe's and they were like surveying?
Well, they were lying on the applications. They were pretending that there was actually a reason to put a guy like Carter Page because the Russians might be talking to him. And if the Russians were talking to him, it was actually authorized by the CIA. So they were misleading the judge. But I don't have any beef with the FISA. All right. It's a pretty scrutinized system. You have judges there. Anything can be abused, right? And kind of the whole system requires people to act in good faith. And if they don't act in good faith, but there's almost no way you can regulate that out, but then nobody would be able to do anything. I don't have a big problem with FISA. I know some people did and some people do. But the way I see it, it's pretty sound. I mean, as you know, wiretaps are a law enforcement surveillance with enough criminal predicate or whatever they call it. You can apply to a judge to do this. And if it starts foreign and it goes domestic, that's when it comes under FISA. And I'm okay with that. Are you one of those libertarian guys?
No, I'm just leery of surveillance. I'm a good guy. I'm not a bad guy, but I just feel like, what's the Fourth Amendment for then?
Well, I mean, okay, but, Fourth Amendment, yeah, I hear you. I mean, that's Snowden stuff they were talking about, and they were culling billions and billions and billions and all that stuff. But the way FISA works, look, you got to go to judge for a permission. You put it in an application. Here's what we're worried about. Here's what we're doing. Here's what we think. Here's the suspected wrongdoing. It may involve this person. It may involve that person. I mean, I kind of trust it, maybe naively, but so far so good as far as me. The thing, I don't know. I'm not worried about it. Maybe I should be. I think you know more about it. I know you're a good guy. I wasn't questioning that. Brock, I appreciate it. I don't know how to, it was initially introduced by George W. Bush, and there was great controversy and great this and great that. I think it's a pretty standard law enforcement tool, and that's what made it so egregious. When Comey and the FBI got caught lying on an application. They lied. A guy named Kevin Kleinsmith lied on the application. Judge Boasberg, the guy he lied to, tried to cover for the liar. It's amazing. But I'm all right with it. They don't have enough guys to surveil everybody. All right? Thank you, Brock. Everything else good?
Yeah. I just celebrated my 40th birthday. So I'm excited, ready to see what this new chapter brings.
All right. Well, you bring it. You bring what you want to bring. You make it happen, man. You can make it happen. You ever read any of Trump's biographies?
I'm sorry?
You ever read any of Trump's books, autobiographies?
No, but I did do some research on Trump, and it's sad how we grew up and people were picking on him, and now he gets his payback.
I don't remember that. I don't think that was in his book. It might have been in a nasty book about him. Try Art of the Deal and Think Big, Kick Ass. Great books, and it may, the power of positive thinking, my friend. Thank you, Brock. Oops. On this Friday, the number is 800-848-9222. It's the middle of May. How about that? It's May 15th. Next week, we're going into Memorial Day weekend. Wow, it's going fast. This is of no moment to Carlos. No moment. But that's all right. Be right back.
Greg Kelly.
Let's go, Brandon.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, I love it that these woke weirdo prosecutors are getting their comeuppance. Now, I hate that it's coming so late because they've done so much damage. So many innocent people, so many angel families being, created. What happened here? Miss Minter, Stephanie Minter in Virginia, an illegal criminal maniac, stabbed her in the neck. And, prosecutors, they knew about these guys. Law enforcement was begging them to keep these guys in jail when they had them in custody. They were letting people go left and right because they're all woke and weird, and they think they're better than people. They think they're better than the citizens. They think they're special. And the law is getting more and more complicated just for that reason, to exclude us. The law is supposed to be written in a way that regular people can understand. And now they've made it this weird, esoteric, arcane. Nobody knows what the hell's going on unless you went to this school, that school, and the other school and studied it for 5 years. It's not supposed to be that way. You look at the Constitution, it's very, very, very straightforward. We have Brendan Gill. I like this guy. Young man from Texas. I'd say there's a 60% chance he's going to be president of the United States someday. The only issue I got with him is, he's only 31 and he's been in, hasn't done too much other than politics, and whatever, can't be too picky, can't be too precious. All right. The man's on fire here, taking on woke prosecutors and holding them accountable. Go ahead.
I want to better understand how you weigh an illegal alien's immigration status whenever you're making charging decisions. Do you know who Ander Jose Cortez Mendez is? Are you familiar with that case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is a Guatemalan illegal alien who was arrested in March of 2024. He was initially charged with, quote, carnal knowledge of a 13 to 14-year-old. Just for those of us who aren't lawyers, can you describe just very briefly what does carnal knowledge of a 13 to 14-year-old mean in this context?
Well, sir, generally a charge like that would typically refer to underage sex.
Okay, so he raped an underage person, an illegal alien who raped an underage American. Your office reduced those charges to a misdemeanor charge of consensual sex with a child 15 years and older. You offered him a 90-day suspended jail sentence. Is that correct?
Sir, based on the evidence that we had in the case.
So it is correct.
But it's not related to the policy, sir.
So that is correct. I just want to ask you, whenever you were making that charging decision to reduce the charge, how did you weigh the defendant's immigration status?
Well, sir, to be clear, I was not the lead prosecutor in that case.
It was your office.
Oh, absolutely, sir. I, of course, rely on my team of 50-some attorneys to do cases. But I think what is important is that oftentimes, as you know, sir, as a prosecutor, we're constrained by the evidence. We're constrained.
I just need to know how did you take into account the defendant's immigration status?
Well, sir, again, I'm saying
making that decision. How did your office make that determination?
Well, what I would say is that, and thank you for clarifying. If you take a look at the immigration consequences policy,
let me ask it a different way. Did your office reduce charges against this illegal alien from a felony rape charge to a misdemeanor charge with a 90-day suspended jail sentence, in part because this was an illegal alien in question?
No, this was evidentiary based.
It was evident. It had nothing to do with the defendant's immigration status.
So when
your testimony,
if you read the policy, you'll see that.
Did it have anything to do with the defendant's immigration status? It's just yes or no.
Well, sir, it was based on the evidence.
I'm asking you, was their immigration status part of the evidence?
I don't believe so.
Yes or no? You don't believe so. Your policy says that you shall consider their immigration status.
Sir, if you actually read the whole policy, it explicitly carves out cases.
Prosecutors shall consider the collateral immigration consequences of the specific crime is charged with and the detrimental impact that deportation removal has on the families.
It also mentions that it's not outcome determinative. It also
I understand, and I'm asking you if your office weighed the defendant's immigration status in making your charging decisions here.
Oh, again, sir, I was not the lead prosecutor in this case.
I'm asking for your office. I understand you're not the lead prosecutor.
Exactly. I just want to be clear. But the way that the policy is written, that case should not have fallen under the rubric of this policy. This is a narrow policy and is meant to be a narrow policy.
An illegal alien, I think that would qualify, would it not?
Well, no, sir, because, again, the way that the policy is being presented as it is outcome determinative
there would be immigration consequences based on what charge you bring. That would clearly apply to this case.
No, sir. Again, that's the reason why I mentioned earlier you read a portion but not the entire 2 paragraphs of this subhead.
Prosecutors shall consider. I just want to know, just give me a yes or no answer. Did you take into account the defendant's immigration status?
Sir, again, I was not, but the way the policy,
did your office
the way the policy is written, question? No, they should not have taken.
Should not have.
That is not outcome determinative in a case like this, sir.
All right. Not outcome determinative. Shall consider the immigration status and the impact on the family. Right? So if you throw the book at him, that's going to tip off the immigration and he will be deported. So in cases where there can be leniency, right? That guy deserved a felony. It's a felony, not a misdemeanor, not probation. That's amazing. That is amazing. It's happening all over the place. Immigration status. Illegal gives you special status. Illegal. Special status for the illegal. Special consideration. I got to go in a second. Nicholas, hello.
Hello, Greg. President Nancy Reagan were great friends with Frank Sinatra.
That's a great point. Nancy Reagan and Ronald Reagan. I wonder if Nancy Sinatra has forgotten that. This crazy liberal lunatic saying all kinds of things on Twitter. She has no idea. How dare she say all those things about Frank? All right, good point there, Nicholas. We got pictures of her dancing with Nancy and, him, Frank, dancing with Frank. It was very, very close, sometimes too close. Ronald Reagan was thought to have gotten a little bit jealous of the Frank Sinatra situation. Joe in Brooklyn, yes, sir.
Hey, how are you? That fella you just had speaking, he should be maybe Attorney General. He's got great because I cross-examine people like that. That's what you have to do to these people. You have to kill them, crush, kill, destroy, you know?
Yeah.
Go back again, because I'm the lawyer at nytriallawyer.org, and I said I would look at the case of Biden, the Biden's ex-husband in Delaware. You never called me back.
Oh, well, did you look into the case?
Yeah, I told you I was going to go to Delaware, review it. My work is famous. You can look it up, and I'm more interested in because a lot of people like you, and they asked me to look at it.
Yeah, I know. Well, did you look at it?
No, how can I look at it? You never gave me I had no information.
What the hell am I supposed to? But it's all in the damn. It's all publicly available. I don't have any special information.
That's fine. Listen, that's fine. So just do me a favor. Just tell me if you can get me the name, what his name is.
Bill Stevenson. You just said it 2 minutes ago.
I don't know his name. Say it again. Bill Stevenson?
Yeah. You're a lawyer. Okay, don't you have the Google? I'm only busting you. I'm busting your chops. A little bit. Look, yeah, I said I was going to look. His name is Bill Stevenson. You can look at my Substack, Greg Kelly Substack. I got the whole do me a favor right now so I don't have to deal with this because I have a bad habit of not getting the numbers. Carlos, this is what I want you to do. All right? Instead of getting this guy's number, you give him my number. All right? You give him my number. Okay? And he can text me but sometime this weekend. All right? I am curious what you got here. All right. But do some research first because I put it all online.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?